This program is brought to you by the Durango Business Improvement District. You'll fit right in.
As you travel north on the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, you come across a turn-of-the-century brick building 3 miles after the Rockwood station. From the outside, it looks like an early 20th century school building, but you won't find desks and blackboards inside. Rather, you'll find 3 turn-of-the-century hydroelectric turbines and a 21st century mechanic who keeps the antique power plant on the grid. It's the Tacoma Power Plant, and it's been supplying power to the area for more than 100 years. Durango TV recently joined several La Plata Electric Association board members and LPEA Chief Executive Officer Mike Drayspring for a tour of the Tacoma Power Plant to learn more about the area's early energy history and efforts to preserve the antique technology. Our tour guide was Jeff Wilbanks, a local mechanic and jack of all trades who commutes to his job in Tacoma via pop car from Rockwood. The Tacoma Power Plant was built along the Animas River in 1905 and 1906 to supply power to the mines and milling operations in the Silverton Mining District. Its current owner is Xcel Energy, a Minnesota-based electrical and natural gas power company that serves 3.5 million customers in 8 western states. The Tacoma plant is one of 26 hydroelectric plants in the company's power grid. Xcel also owns the Ames Power Plant near Ophir. Although the Tacoma plant is located on the Animas River, the water that turns the turbines actually comes from Cascade and Elbert Creeks by Purgatory Resort. The water is transported via an old wooden flume, then steel pipes to Electra Lake. From Electra, the water flows through another pipeline for 2.5 miles to a point along the Animas River Canyon rim, where it then cascades 1,000 feet to the hydroelectric plant below. 10 years ago, one of the 3 generators exploded, damaging the other 2. They were fixed within a month, but the explosion left the 3rd generator out of commission. Tacoma currently generates about 4 megawatts of energy at peak production. That's less than 2% of the power used by the La Plata Electric Association. That amount will be boosted by another 5 to 7 megawatts when Wilbanks completes installation of a new $5 million generator this winter. But with such a small amount of energy produced, is it worth the cost to run the Tacoma plant? Wilbanks said hydroelectricity is cheap to produce, it's totally green, and it's an old technology that's making a comeback.
This place paid for itself 10 times over just to get to this point, and then once we get the new unit installed, we should be making either 5 to 7 megawatts depending on which model they buy. It'll only take us a couple years to pay that off. As this new green energy is being demanded, the hydros of this style are going to come back into favor. They don't take a very large dam on the run of a river like most of your high volume, low pressure systems. This is considered a high pressure, low volume system. We use very little water to make our megawatts. So these are coming back into favor all around the world where you have a little bit of water and a lot of gravity.
As one of the first alternating current hydroelectric generating plants ever built in the West, Wilbanks says Tacoma is worth preserving. It's a monument to the 19th and early 20th century mining industry, and it's literally a working museum.
Actually, just the joy of working on this old equipment is a blast from my point of view, being a mechanic. But I also find it interesting to go through the archives and the prints and the books that were written back in that time to try to figure out how they were doing the maintenance on it with the tools that they had. It's pretty interesting. They were very creative. So you had to think things through for your projects. You had to make sure you had the right stuff, and you had to have a contingency plan if those took too long to get parts.